which is just a general all-round practice for lower back. I've been getting quite a bit of lower back pain recently, so this is just a really good practice that I've been doing. I'd like to share. It's about half an hour. So just start, I like to take my hands to my lower back around the kidney area and my belly, and just begin to take some slow deep breaths in and out through the nose, just really tuning in, connecting to my body, just arriving fully on the mat. And then you can take both hands to the lower back, drawing the inner elbows towards each other, opening the chest, and just breathe as deeply as you can into the space underneath your hands. Try and feel the breath expand this lower back area, which in my case is an area of tension at the moment, and I think for many people. So breathe space, breathe prana into the space beneath your hands. Feel the back press into the palms with each inhale, and flood the kidneys, which are often very overworked and depleted, with fresh prana. So slow deep breaths, tuning in. And then just take a huge inhale to bring the palms together above the head. At the top of the inhale, exhale, lean over to the right and stretch through the left side of the body. Inhale back, palms come together. Exhale, left hand comes down, right hand stretches over, and just keep that going with the breath a couple more times. Inhale, palms together above the head. Exhale, right hand down, left hand reaches. One more, inhale up. Exhale, left hand down, right hand reaches all the way over to the left. And then we'll stay for a few breaths. So inhale, palms together. Exhale, take the right hand down, stretch through the left side, so reach all the way over to the right with the left fingertips, and at the same time press through the right hand on the floor just to really anchor the left buttock, the left sit bone to the floor. Sweep the hand across the body in front of you, and on the next exhale, lean over to the other side, again pressing slightly through the left hand to keep both sit bones, to keep the whole of the base of the pelvis anchored on the floor. And then sweeping the back of the hand across the front of the body, coming back to upright, big inhale, palms above the head. This time exhale into a gentle twist. Left hand just rests on right knee. Your right hand's your prop behind you. Relax the shoulders, elongate through the spine, out the top of the head, but heavy in the pelvis and the legs. And deep breath, breathe into the chest, broad collarbones. Inhale, palms above the head, big stretch here. Exhale, right hand just comes to rest on the left knee. Left hand's your prop behind you. Just look over the left shoulder. So we spiral the twist into the neck spine as well. Breathing deeply into the front of the chest, still into the kidneys. Take the hands about 10 centimeters behind the hips, fingertips forward, and press through the hands to reach the chest forward and up, arching the spine. So really arch the back here, use the back muscles. Keeping the back of the neck quite long, deep breath, stretching the front of the shoulders, pectoral muscles. And then keeping the ankles crossed or shins crossed, just reaching forward as far as is appropriate for you. You may not come as far as me here, the hands might be more just in front of the knees, dropping the head between the upper arms like so. Just coming as far forward as you can and breathing into the back. And then just swap the shins over so the other ankle or shin is in front, and again coming forward as deeply as you wish to go, breathing into the back. So feel the breath stretch the skin of the back. And then coming up, either rock over the knees to tabletop or bring your feet around the side, but find tabletop, hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, and then come into cat-cow. So inhale, lift tailbone, drop belly, look up. Exhale, tailbone draws under, chin to chest, stretch the back to the sky or the ceiling. Just move between those two positions in your breath. So we're flexing the spine up and down, initiating the wave of movement at the base of the spine and finishing with the head. So making sure at the top of the inhale you look up, stretching the front of the neck, and at the end of the exhale you really draw that chin all the way into the chest. Active hands, really actively press through the hands here, spreading the fingertips. Nice mindful movement, waking the spine up, mobilizing the spine. Now pivot the right foot off the mat, stretch the left foot to the end of the mat and take the right hand off the floor, coming into a really deep side stretch. So really press through that left sole of the foot, reach through left fingertips. So we're really stretching that left side in opposite directions. Bring the left hand up to the ceiling, draw the navel back to the spine, core support, and lift that left leg off the floor. Exhale, elbow and knee come together. Inhale, extend. This is great for the obliques. Exhale, contract. Inhale, open. One more time. Exhale, inhale, extend. And then bring everything back down to tabletop. Do a cat-cow between sides. Big inhale, looking up, lifting tailbone. Exhale, tailbone under, chin to chest. Pivot the left foot off the mat, stretch the right foot to the end of the mat, and lift that right hand off the floor. Deep side stretch here. So reach through right fingertips, press through the whole of the sole of the right foot. Deep breaths into the right rib cage. Bring the right hand up to the ceiling, draw navel to spine, lift that right foot off the floor and exhale, squeeze, inhale, open. Very strong right leg here. Keeping that right foot flexed, toes to the shin. One more time, exhale, squeeze, inhale, open. And then bringing everything back down, tabletop. Take your left hand onto the sacrum, keep the hips level as you then take that left hand up to the sky. So we're twisting into the thoracic spine, upper back, trying to keep the hips level. Exhale, slide the left hand underneath the right hand, palm to the sky. Take your right fingertips close to the left wrist and just press through the fingertips with the elbow high. Breathe deep, nice little twist for the spine here, or you can stretch that right hand forward close to the ear. If your head doesn't find the mat here, use a block underneath the head. Another option is to take the right hand behind the back, find the left hip crease and possibly raise the right foot. Totally optional. Release the right hand close to the shoulder, press through, bring yourself back to tabletop and we'll go to the other side. So again, just stabilise the hips, take the right hand up, so you won't be able to twist as far when you keep the hips level, but you'll get more into the upper thoracic back behind the heart. Feed the right hand underneath the left, cheek to the floor or to a block, fingertips close to the right wrist, elbow high and press a little bit. Or alternatively, you can reach the hand forward and stretch a little bit differently around the shoulder. Girdle, just see what feels better for you. And there is always the option of wrapping the hand around the back to find the right hip crease and just gently lift the left leg, flexing that left foot, toes to the shin, strong thigh. Use the core here, stabilise through pressing through the foot and that hand on the floor. Release the left hand down, back to tabletop. And take Anahatasana, so you want the hips to stay directly above the knees, so thighs are vertical, and then we just walk the hands forward and sink into the upper back, so you can either have forehead to the floor or possibly, if you're more open, chin. And just melt the heart down towards the floor. Breathing deeply, drawing the inhale all the way up into the upper back, shoulder blades moving apart with each inhale. And at the moment for my back, this is feeling amazing, so I tend to stay here for quite a few breaths. Even though it's quite tight, if you've got tight shoulders, it can be very intense, but it can really help with tight lower backs because we're creating a lot of space here with a natural curve. Walking yourself back in, I'm going to find downward dog, so hands slightly in front of the shoulders, tuck the toes and those hips up and back. So you may need to bend the knees here. I like to stretch my heels, alternatively lifting high on the toes of one foot and stretching into the heel of the opposite and then swapping. So just move as you feel good into the posture. I also like to pivot the feet and bend the knees so we get into a bit of a hip side stretch as well. So just moving your way into downward dog in your own way and finding stillness for a few slow deep breaths, breathing space into the back here, rolling the shoulders away from the ears, pressing the palms actively into the floor, looking back towards the feet, long neck, and drawing that navel up towards the spine, hollowing out the lower belly. Walking the feet forwards between the hands, hip distance apart, so directly underneath the hips. Look up and lengthen on an inhale and exhale, fold in. So again, you might need to bend the knees quite deeply here, protecting the hamstrings. Just relax the neck, so nod and shake the head. And taking hold of opposite elbows, just be really loose and floppy in the torso, so maybe just swaying side to side, backwards and forwards a little bit. Just get nice and long in the torso, but strong in the legs. Really feel the feet actively pressing into the floor. Possibly starting to open up the backs of the knees a little bit. Left hand directly underneath the face, right hand to sacrum to again get into the thoracic spine, and then take that right hand up. So we try not to move the hips out of alignment too much. Press actively through the left hand. If the floor is too far away, take a block underneath the left hand here. Exhale to release and swap the hands over. Right hand directly beneath the face on the floor or a block. Draw that left shoulder back, keeping the hips level. Take the left hand up towards the sky. Breathe deeply, looking up towards the top hand if available for the neck. Exhale to release. Walk the feet out to mat distance apart, toes pointing outwards, and sink the hips between the heels into Malasana squat. So fingertips can stay on the floor, heels can be lifted, but if available, lift the hands off the floor and bring them to a prayer position at the center of the chest. Your upper arms are pressing onto the inner thighs to open up the knees. And we get really heavy in the pelvis here, so a really lovely passive stretch for the lower back. Wonderful grounding posture if you've just travelled or flown. Coming into this position can really help. Coming into a twist, left hand reaches beyond the left foot to reach the right hand up to the sky. Possibly taking a bind here, totally optional, otherwise stay in the extended position. Try and keep both feet rooted into the floor. Try not to lift out of the right foot as you lean to the left, looking up over the right shoulder. Back to the centre, reach your right hand beyond the right foot, so the upper arm is still inside the thigh. I'm taking a bind here, but that's totally optional. You can keep the extended version. The bind just gets into the shoulders a little bit more, but it can actually feel a deeper side stretch without the bind sometimes. Again, anchor down through both feet, especially that left foot. Release, take the hands down, lift the hips, coming back to a standing forward fold. And exhale in towards the shins. Inhale to press through the feet, raise the hands above the head, bring the palms together. Sorry, you can't see me here. This is my first attempt. And exhale the hands back to the sides. Inhale, hands come up above the head, palms together. You just have to imagine that. I took a little back bend. Exhale, hands come down, fold into the shins. Inhale, look up halfway, so you can have the hands on the floor, fingertips or shin. Lengthen the spine. Exhale, folding in. Big inhale, press through the feet, reach the hands above the head, palms come together. Exhale, just come all the way back down, hands to the side. Repeat. Inhale, hands come up above the head, palms together. Exhale, hinge at the hips, hands come to the floor, bend the knees as much as you need, draw the head in towards the shins. Inhale, look up with a flat back, draw the shoulders back. And exhale, fold in again. Press through the feet and step back into plank position, shoulders over the wrists. Bring the knees down, inhale here, and as you exhale, push the floor away from you, elbows stay in and chin and chest comes down to the floor, keeping the hips up. So again, a really nice curve for the lower back here. Pausing for a breath or two and then take the feet back, come up into a baby cobra. So roll those shoulders back, use the back muscles, not the hands, to lift the chest here. Exhale down, press through the feet. Inhale, come up into another baby cobra, maybe a little bit higher. Exhale down. You can repeat the same or take the fingertips off the mat, elbows high, and come up into a deeper cobra. Really breathing into the front of the chest. Exhale, lower the front of the spine to the mat, tuck the toes. Coming back through tabletop into your downward dog. Taking some slow deep breaths here. Firming up the front of the thighs by drawing up on the kneecaps. Step the right foot forward between the hands and lift the right hand off the floor. So we're coming into a twist. Left hand is directly underneath the left shoulder. Strong in the back leg, heel drawing backwards. Exhale, right hand comes down, left hand comes up. Try and keep the hips square. Try not to move the hips here. Exhale, left hand comes down. Release the left knee to the floor. Come onto the top of the left foot and reach up into Anjaneyasana, the crescent moon position, sinking those hips forward and low. Maybe a tiny back bend here. Palms are together above my head there. coming into a twist, so either left hand onto right thigh, reach the right hand backwards, or if you want to go deeper, left elbow presses to right thigh and you bring the hands to prayer position, looking over your right shoulder, your hands in prayer with the thumbs against the centre of the chest. Turn back to the front. Left hand underneath the left shoulder. You can either rest the right hand on the thigh and leave it at that, or if you wish, totally optional, bend the left foot, take the right hand back to hold the front of the foot, and then push the foot into the hand to draw the right shoulder back and lean the head back slightly. So it's actually a little back bend and it's a real front open. Hands come down around the front foot, step back into plank. Inhale here. Exhale, lower down. You can have the knees on the floor as before if you wish. Inhale, come into a back bend of your choice. It can be a baby cobra or start to come a little bit higher if the back feels okay. Exhale, lowering down and pushing back into downward dog. Breath between sides. And then step the left foot between the hands. Low lunge, the knees above the ankle. Take the left hand off the floor first, coming into a closed twist. Strong right leg, heel drawing backwards. Push through the left heel at the front of the mat. Push through right hand, reach through left hand, left fingertips. And then the left hand comes down and the right hand comes up. So we're just twisting the other way, trying not to move the hips. Exhale, right hand down. Bring the right knee down. Top of the foot comes down. Inhale, hands come up, palms together above the head. Possibly a little back bend here, trying to keep the upper arms close to the ears, sinking those hips forward and low. Coming into your twist, either right hand onto left thigh or right elbow onto left thigh, palms together, thumb against the centre of the chest. Breathing deep. Releasing the twist. And right hand underneath right shoulder, either just take the left hand to the left thigh and leave it at that, or bend the right leg, take hold of the front of the right foot with the left hand and push the foot into the hand to draw the left shoulder back and open the front of the chest, taking the back of the head back as well, so we get into a back bend. Hands frame the front foot, coming back into plank. Exhale, lowering down to the mat or Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale to Urdhva Dhanurasana, upward dog or a baby cobra. Exhale, downward dog. You can skip these little vinyasas if you are feeling tired or you just want to take the pace down and just come back to downward dog. A few slow deep breaths between sequences. Inhale, take the right leg up towards the sky, bend the knee and drop the foot over towards the left, so just let gravity draw the foot down. And then step the right foot between the hands, spin the back foot. We're coming into Parsvakonasana, side angle pose. So your right hand is either on your thigh, the palm up, or on the floor if your hips allow, if your hips are open enough. But the left hand reaches in the opposite direction as the left foot and the upper arm is close to the ear. And we're rolling the chest open towards the sky. Inhale up to warrior two, so keep the legs in the same position. Right knee is above the ankle. Push through the little toe edge of that left foot, activate the back leg, reach into reverse warrior, so left hand onto the back leg, right hand reaching behind you, but the legs stay in the same position. Coming into Trikonasana, triangle, so walk the back foot in slightly and reach over towards the right. Right hand can come down to rest onto the thigh, the shin or the floor, left hand up towards the ceiling. Straight legs, drawing up on the kneecaps to firm up the thighs. Deep breaths. And for the last couple of breaths, release the left hand so the arm is close to the ear, so you get a stretch all the way down through that left side of the body. Exhale, bring the left knee down, hands down, come up into a twist, so bring the palms together above the head and bring the left elbow to the outside of the right thigh. In prayer position, thumbs against the sternum. Totally optional is to lift that back knee off the floor, otherwise you can just stay with the knee on the floor again. If you're open, if the torso is touching the thigh, you can take that left hand to the floor on the outside of the right lower leg and reach the right hand up. This is again totally optional, go as far as you wish. Releasing the hands down and step back, either straight into downward dog or vinyasa. Exhale to the floor or Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale to upward dog or baby cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Taking some breaths between sighs, always coming back to downward dog to neutralise, to come back to your foundations and your breath. Inhale, left leg high, bend the knee, drop the foot over towards the right, just for a couple of breaths to open up the front of that hip. And then exhale, step left foot between the hands, spin the right foot, ideally the toes slightly in front of the heels. Left hand can be on the left thigh, left elbow on the thigh, or hand can come to the floor on the inside or the outside of the left leg. Right upper arm close to the ear, palm faces the floor. Look underneath your right armpit up to the sky or up to the palm of the hand. Reach through the fingertips and press through the little toe edge of that back foot. Inhale up, warrior two, trying not to move the legs too much, so hips are nice and open to the side, reaching through the fingertips, looking forward over the middle finger of the left hand. Still very strong in the legs, push through left heel, little toe edge of right foot. Bring right hand to rest on the back leg and reach back and over with the left hand. Breathe into the left rib cage, reverse warrior. Inhale, come up, straighten the front leg, walk the back foot in very slightly, coming into Trikonasana. So reach through the left with the left hand, fingertips come down to the thigh or the calf or to the floor. Right hand reaches up. You can always use a block close to that left foot if you need. Straight legs here. And then for the last couple of breaths, stretch through the right side of the body by taking the upper arm close to the ear, reaching forwards through the fingertips. And then releasing the right hand to the floor, bring the right knee down, come into prayer position and bring the right elbow to press against the outside of the left thigh. And really press that elbow into the thigh and resist with the thigh. Option to lift the back knee, looking over the left shoulder. If the torso is very close to the thigh, you can bring that right hand to the floor on the outside of the left lower leg. But don't force it. Prayer position is great. Unraveling yourself, coming back to the center, palms come down, step back either straight to downward dog or move through your vinyasa. Exhale, lowering down, inhale to a back bend, draw the shoulder blades back. Exhale, roll over the toes, downward dog. Slow, deep breaths here. Inhale to plank, very strong here. Bring the left foot halfway between the right foot and the hands, and then take that left hand off the floor. So you're in modified side plank. You can stay there with that stabilizer, or if you feel stable, you can stack the feet to come into full Vashisthasana, the side plank. Lift those hips away from the floor. If you feel balanced enough, look up to the top hand. Coming back through plank for a moment, then back to downward dog. Step the right foot halfway between the foot and the hands. Take the right hand off the floor. So you're in a supported version of side plank. Stay there if you wish, or stack the feet. Very strong in the legs, as if you're squeezing a block between the thighs. Press through the left hand, which is just in front of the left shoulder. Lift the hips away from the mat. Bringing the hands down. Plank position. Exhale to the mat or chaturanga, and then all the way down to the mat. Just take some breaths here to just let the heart rate come down and let gravity draw the spine into its natural curves. So really relax here, take some deep breaths, feel very supported by the floor beneath you. And we're going to come into Shalabhasana, the locust. So bring the hands close to the hips with the palms up. I like to lift the feet and stretch them back, and lift the hands up, stretch them back so I'm nice and long. And use an inhale to lift everything up, the feet, the chest, the head, the hands. Drawing the shoulders back away from the ears. Keep the neck long by just looking to the floor in front of you, and keep the legs very strong, so firm thighs. Trying to expose the soles of the feet to the sky. Exhale, let everything come down, turn a cheek to the floor, maybe wobble the hips slightly if the lower back feels tight. Take some resting breaths. You can repeat this, what we just did, or slightly different, maybe a little bit harder, interlacing the hands, and again lift everything up. And this time you really, if you can, squeeze the palms together and draw those knuckles towards behind you as far back, and lifting up away from the buttocks as high as possible as well. Breathe into the chest. This posture isn't so much about height as length. Exhale to release, turn the cheek the other way, so opposite cheek to the mat now. Resting breaths. And then come up into a gentle back bend. So Bhujangasana, the cobra. So elbows underneath the shoulders or maybe slightly in front of the shoulders. Forearms parallel, spread the fingertips. Relax the buttocks. If you wish to go deeper, just turn the hands out slightly and press the arms straight, but keep the shoulders drawing away from the ears. If that feels too much, just come back down onto the elbows. Relax the buttocks, but press through the tops of the feet. So legs are active, but buttocks releasing as best as possible. Big back muscles drawing the shoulder blades together down the spine. Exhale to release. Now this is totally optional. You can just repeat the cobra or dhanurasana, bringing the feet in towards the buttocks, taking hold of the front of the ankles and then pushing the feet into the hands to draw the shoulders off the floor and taking 3 to 5 deep breaths. Again, it's not so much about height as breath here, so breathe into the collarbones. Exhale, release. Again, maybe wobbling the hips a little bit side to side if you need. And then we're going to push up and back into child's pose. So lifting up, body in a straight line, press through the hands, slide the hips back, sink the hips onto the heels. I like to keep my hands outstretched here just to really get traction and length in the spine, and also lift the wrists just to get a stretch into the backs of the wrists, so up on the fingertips. But your choice, you can have the hands by the feet and let the shoulders drop forward if that feels better for you. But take some really nice, slow, deep breaths here. Feeling the pelvis like a heavy weight. Slowly come up, bring the legs forward. And just before we come into a forward fold, just take the opportunity to have another little front open, a little back bend. So either fingertips forward, or it feels good for me, fingertips back, little fingers close towards each other. And lift the chest up towards the chin, arching the spine. And then inhale, take the hands up. And exhale, reach forward, trying to hinge from the hips as best you can. Just bring the hands to touch whatever they touch, the thighs, the shin, possibly the feet. Take an extra inhale to lengthen again. Then exhale, fold in. So your forward fold might not look like mine at all. You might have the hands resting on the thighs and just drop the head between the upper arms. But just come into your deepest expression of the posture. And take some slow, deep breaths, just really opening up the whole of the back of the body. Keeping the legs active, so pushing into the heels, toes to the ceiling. So you might look more like this, and this is great as long as you feel the stretch on the backs of the legs and the lower back. And then coming into upward tabletop is the easier version with the knees bent, or Pursvottanasana if you want the full position, legs straight. If you're going for Pursvottanasana, trying to bring the big toes down to the floor, and you can possibly drop the head back, but either upward tabletop or Pursvottanasana, just press through the hands, lift those hips high. Exhale, coming down, coming into a nice twist. So you're going to hook your right foot to the outside of the left knee and bring your left foot to the outside of the right hip. And you can just hug the knee into the crook of the left elbow, or bring the elbow beyond the knee, or even take the bind. So just hugging that right knee into the crook of the left elbow is perfectly sufficient for a wonderful twist for the lower back, or the whole of the back, but feels particularly good around the lower back when we add the hips in here. Unravelling wherever you're at, and just swap sides. So step your left foot to the outside of the right knee, bring your right foot to the outside of the left hip. You may need to sit on a block here. Reach up through right side and either hug the knee into the crook of the right elbow, or elbow beyond the knee and press, or possibly take the bind. Your left hand is your prop behind you unless you're taking the bind. Looking over the left shoulder, dropping down through the pelvis but lifting up through the spine. Deep breaths. My lower back absolutely loves this posture. Unravel slowly, back to the centre, and then we're going to come down onto our backs. And then just from here, lift up the feet, take hold of the front of the ankles, draw the heels close to the buttocks with the feet parallel. The toes might